Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Dr. Suver, thank you very much for the invitation. I've never been here in this conference series, but frankly, I've never been to Istanbul. So for me, it's a first of the first. Ladies and gentlemen, it's always difficult to speak after lunch. I remember once in my previous lives when I was presenting television, we had a live television show after lunch, and the so-called V4 country presidents were sitting at the first row, and we couldn't put one close-up from the first row because they were all sleeping. So it's a challenge to speak in the afternoon anyway, especially after a topic which means to everybody something different. Me coming from the world of diplomacy and communication, obviously, all these issues resonate with the problems what we face in these territories. I'm very happy to see my fellow board members of the Institute of Culture Diplomacy, and we've been discussing openly and constantly, really, how we could make diplomacy more effective. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that this year, of course, marks the 80th anniversary of the United Nations. We heard so many criticism about the UN. Of course, we know we need the reform. We have been needing the reform since the beginning of the life of the United Nations. Still, I believe in these very unpredictable times that the UN keeps remaining crucial to promoting peace, development, and human rights. And the future, we know, holds much uncertainty. The world is passing through a, I would say, nerve-wracking period. And I believe we should not give up the global cooperation, whatever we hear. I also believe that we need to spread messages of hope, optimism, and solidarity, which I see very often fading away. And don't forget, when we speak about diplomacy, we should never forget the very good idea what William Fulbright said, that in the long course of history, having people understand your thought is much greater security than another submarine. So I was very happy to realize during this conference how much emphasis you put on the importance of intercultural and interreligious dialogue. And I saw and I see in the world the role of culture diplomacy more important than ever, because it builds relationships, understanding, and trust, which is another fading phenomenon today between peoples, cultures, continents, countries, and to introduce, cherish, respect each other's culture gives us a chance, at least a chance, not to misunderstand, but try to understand each other. So we diplomats are constantly tested, I would say, and as a whole, public diplomacy as well. Multilateral diplomacy and soft power diplomacy are very similar to gardening. You plant, you wait, and see the seeds. You wait again and trim and harvest at some point. So in multilateralism, you talk to people, develop relationships of trust and confidence, and if some things come up, then you have a base to work from. Very often, you don't have an effective way to do that. Culture diplomacy is also, I would say, our best hope of transmuting traditional prejudices into attitudes of understanding and cooperation. Culture has the advantage of being a public good that all people can share. So while diplomacy holds great promise to bringing our differences and facilitating international cooperation on pressing issues, we need to admit that at times, like today, the pressure is great on politicians to focus to cater to their own people first, especially in the difficult economic times. Problems may be increasingly global, but politics remains local. But I really think that we need to open up to the cultural influences and adopt those concepts and ideas that have a universal appeal. And in that context, cultural diplomacy can help us relearn the traditional knowledge of many societies. Also, through that, we open windows into different cultures, and we can arrive at mutually agreed upon set of ethical rules governing the financial world that are based on fundamental human values. And finally, as a founder of the Women for Diplomacy International, let me underline that I look at the women as agents of change. Their role in making a more human world, which this conference is about, is immense. Women have proven their tremendous potential to foster peace, nurture reconciliation, and contribute to sustainable development of their communities. And yet, the potential contribution of women to peace and development remains severely undervalued. I believe in the importance of prevention, in preventive diplomacy. Let's speak less about how we solve the conflicts after the conflicts arose. Let's look at and focus on prevention. And in that, we should use much better the soft power diplomacy, multilateral diplomacy, and the role of women in engaging them in the decision-making processes so that the whole society would benefit of it. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Dear Ambassador Bogyay, please accept our small gift.